We are joined by Lowcountry State Senator Tom Davis, who probably has one of those construction hats in his office because he's always got to have one ready to go in case there's a project getting ready to start. Do you have one? And let's start talking about your priorities and what's going to start getting done over the next year or so.
Absolutely. I mean, the number one issue, I mean, I've been talking to groups on Hilton Head Island and Bluffton for the past, several years. And continuously, the number one issue comes up is traffic. The amount of time it takes to get from point A to point B, safety, the danger of intersections, evacuation in the event of hurricanes. It is by far the number one issue on my constituents' minds. So a lot of my time is taken up with working with the South Carolina Department of Transportation to get funds allocated to this area, working with the State Infrastructure Bank to get dollars for road projects allocated to this area, lobbying in Washington, D.C. for appropriations in the federal budget. So that's the money piece of it. The question then becomes, what do you do with that money? I mean, how are we going to alleviate this problem? And in terms of priorities, the number one thing right now is I-95 and getting it 3 lanes in each direction from that South Carolina, Georgia line all the way to Exit 8, which we now have funded. It's now engineered, it's designed, it's environmentally mitigated. You're going to start to see work on that, in the next few months. I would, in terms of an RFP process. But more importantly, what I want to tell your listeners is, or your viewers, is that I'm now working on the component of funding for Exit 8 to the Walterboro exits to get those 3 lanes in each direction. And we are getting those dollars put into place because that ultimately is going to be what I have to deliver on. We need to go ahead and 3-lane I-95 in each direction from the state line all the way to Walterboro. Now, closer to home, we need to do something about 278 and 170 and the intersections and signalization of intersections, because there's far too many accidents, far too much waiting in traffic. So you can see right now we're starting to work on that. You can see the interchange at 170 and 278 is being completed. It's being improved. I mean, that should be done in the next few months. We're working on widening 278 from that 170, 278 intersection all the way to I-95. That's incredibly important as an evacuation route for my constituents.
So you're actually talking about 3-laning all the way from 170 to 95. That's something we hadn't really talked about much before. That's been engineered, and again, getting the funding for that is because everybody else in this state, every other state senator, every other state representative is in the ear of the DOT secretary and the SIP chairman saying, these are monies we need for our area. But let me say this, our Beaufort County delegation is incredibly strong. We have more committee chairmanships and more seniority than any other county in this state. I chair the Labor, Commerce, and Industry Committee. Shannon Erickson chairs the House Education Committee. Weston Newton chairs the Senate Judiciary Committee. Jeff Bradley chairs the House AI Committee. So we have the ability to effectively lobby for those state and federal dollars because we need to deliver for the people of Beaufort County. Yeah, this is something we have not had in the past. I mean, I've been here 20 years now, and I've always complained that, gee, a whole lot of money comes from here, but it doesn't always come back. And you're like saying, as you're saying, the incumbency of so many of the state reps and yourself has changed that dynamic, hasn't it?
And that's true across the board, not just roads and bridges, but funding for K through 12 education, funding for USCB, funding for the Technical College of the Lowcountry. We are now at par or in excess of other counties now. We have the ability to have an equitable return of those tax dollars back to our area.
All right, put that construction hat back on again. You've got some other intersections up and down 170 and 278 that are priorities now.
Absolutely, man. One of them is on 170 turning off onto 462.
How are you going to fix that?
Well, you've got, there's going to be a plan to relocate that light, to move that light further northward on 170 up toward John Paul II High School and to improve that interchange. And then to take 462 itself and widen it, because that is, as you know, an important hurricane evacuation route that a lot of people take. So having the ability to exit here in an efficient way is critical given our place on the coast and the prevalence of storms.
When should we start to see shovels in the ground? 95 just after the first of the year?
Yeah, everything's been done on I-95 in terms of engineering, permitting. It's a question now of letting RFPs and getting contractors to respond to those RFPs. The problem right now is there's so much money on the demand side contractors can be selective and choosy as to what contracts they accept. But I feel very optimistic about the chance of letting those RFPs by the beginning of January, so you can actually start seeing, shovels on the ground, as you say, and work actually being done on I-95.
Thanks so much. We appreciate it, Senator Tom Davis. Appreciate the time. Good luck to you the rest of the summer.
Thanks for having me. Take care.